Hey, hey, everybody, welcome to Spiritual Vacancy. We are your podcast to help fill your spiritual void. And I am Brooke Ann. I am a psychic medium and a Reiki practitioner, and I am with my lovely partner in crime.
Hello, I'm Mona Lee. I'm an energy healer with Mind, Body, and Spirit, owner of Beautiful Mind in the beautiful South Carolina in Myrtle Beach. So excited about this topic that we're discussing today, which is all about perfect timing before the end of this year.
Yeah, today is
Because
New Year's Eve.
right, it's going to, yes, exactly. It's going to be New Year's Eve. So it's amazing how what we're coming into, numerologically speaking, is a pretty big deal for all of us on the planet, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. And it's crazy how numerology is actually so accurate
Hmm.
with every year. If you don't realize it, every year adds up to a singular number that actually means so much. And we
It
are
does.
coming out of an 8 year going into a nine. And how you
Yes.
do that is you add up all the numbers and get a single digit.
Yep. So if we add up 2025, for example, coming up, for everybody on the planet, it's a 9 year for all of us. So it's time to release the stuff that no longer serves your highest good, let go of the crap, clean out your closets, just get rid of the people that are just sucking you emotionally dry, the emotional vampires.
Yeah.
But really getting rid of everything that is no longer serving the best and highest good for you is what I think everyone on the planet is going to be feeling this year because it is a nine energy.
I think they're already starting to feel it. I feel like even at the towards the end of the 8 year,
Mhm.
relationships and partnerships and work and things like that. Like I've been talking to people and they're like, it's already kind of started where they're ready to release that relationship coming into next year. And a lot of people are already feeling it, or people that are been wanting to move. Nine is
Mhm.
a huge year for moving. I would not be surprised that the housing market is way better next year because people are completing their cycle in the home that they're in right now. And next year is a perfect time to move. And if they've been wanting to, kind of lining that up in the 8 year, it's going to
Mhm.
happen in the nine.
Interesting, interesting. And as far as moving things too, it's almost like shifting things inside of a house too. Like I was looking at my garage and my closets going, I want to get rid of this. I want to get rid of that. I want to get rid of stuff. And it's a year of
Mhm.
purging and releasing and getting rid of. So yeah, whether you're
Mhm.
getting rid of stuff or getting rid of a home or getting rid of whatever it is, or people that are or in harms, it's just like it's the perfect time to do so. I do want to share too that one of the numerologists that I had spoken to in the past was sharing that at 1 year, and that's of course 9 years ago, everything's in a 9 year cycle. And she said, Mona, if you don't want to bring this into another, segment of the next year into your 1 year, then you need to go ahead and get rid of it now because it'll be pulled into another 9 year cycle. So if you are really serious about what you need to release, whatever it may be, people, we got to do it now because we are going into that. We don't want to bring it into another 9 year cycle that following year. So we were talking earlier too, Brooke, as far as breaking it down year by year, because every single one of us has a different number that we're going into. And we are just about to discuss all of those different numbers.
Mhm.
So how we came up, not how we came up with it, but how it is figured out.
Yeah.
If we take our birth month and our birth day, add them together, boil it down to a single digit. That is the energy that your personal year of yourself is going to be going through this year in 2025. So why don't we talk about that? Why don't we talk about the
Okay.
numbers one by one? So everybody, all our listeners, take your birthday, take your month, take your day, add them together, bring it down to a single digit, and here's what's going to happen.
Okay, so just so not the year that you were born, not like 19,
No, not
none
the
of
year.
that. So that's
No.
different. Okay, because that's a number that you're born with. When you
Correct.
take the month, the day, and then the actual year and you break that down, because that I'm born with an eight. I
Mhm.
I am will always be an eight. But if you break it down, my birthday is July 2nd, so that would actually be a nine if
Yes.
I just take that. So I'm going into a 9 year with a nine.
Yes, you are going into a 9 year. Yes, your attitude number is that birthday of the seven and the two, which is your nine. And then if you take that nine, add it to 2025, which is that nine
Yep.
year, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you that adds up. Nine and nine is 18. Add that
And a
together, that's a
nine.
nine. So yes, just to kind of get all the way around it.
I'll be
But
releasing some shit next year.
but it's simple for everybody. Just
Right.
take your month and your day, and then when you add that to the nine and you boil it down to that single number, it still turns out to your month and day, which is what the energy of this year for you personally is going to be
Okay, that's
like.
good to know. And
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating how numerology and angel numbers and it all kind of like coincides with everything. And even
Yes.
when we go over each year, because a lot of people listening, I know you guys don't realize that every year holds a different energy. Just like to kind of explain how me and Mona are talking about we're going into a 9 year next year. But then in 2026 is actually a 1 year. But you can also take these numbers and it relates to angel numbers as well. So like when me and Mona go over these years, when you see 111, 222, 333, 444, what me and Mona are about to explain with each year, that's part of those angel numbers too, and kind of guiding you on your path. So we'll kind of go over that as well. But after we get through the 9 year of moving, releasing, cleaning out, decluttering, right, in all aspects of our life, then we go into the 1 year, which is all about solitude, which is about one. When you know that song, one is the loneliest number, right? It's all about reflecting back in, figuring out things for yourself. You might actually spend a lot of time in solitude or with yourself, and maybe like you're not wanting to be out in public as much or do things that people are making you do. You're going to start honoring your own feelings and just kind of being alone and kind of looking back within, right, Mona?
It is, it is. And also in that 1 year, it's so important too. It's a lot of new beginnings for
Hmm.
people. So when you spend that time alone going, okay, who am I? What am I here to do on this earth? What is this all about? It's a brand new beginning. So I find that a lot of times in people's 1 years, they're finding that they're going into a new business. They're
Yep.
going into that new home. They're going into a new, totally new beginning. So it's absolutely fascinating in the 1 year for people.
Yes, it is. I mean, I'm excited for all the years because they're all a
Mhm.
little challenging in their own ways.
Right.
And then 2027 is a 2 year, which is about balance, harmony, and relationships because you think of partnerships, relationships, two groups of two people, and
Mhm.
finding the balance in your life, which once you get out of that solitude year and doing the new beginnings, maybe that
Mhm.
is when you kind of allow other people to come in or you
Mhm.
form different partnerships with other people because now you kind of know what you want.
Yeah.
So you're ready to dive in. What do you think about the 2 year, Mona?
I think it's wonderful because it is about co-creativity, co-creative processes, and then having those partnerships, having the business partnerships, having the working partnerships, having the partnerships.
La la partnership.
Or what I found too for myself personally is that source energy partnership and really tapping into source energy as a partner, as spirit. So
That's
it
very
is,
good.
yeah, the two or other people's resources
Right.
also. People can tap into other people's resources, and that's also helpful in partnerships.
Very much. Yeah,
Different
that's
time. Yeah.
awesome. I think a 2 year is a really good year for people. And then 2028 is a 3 year, which is all about maybe trying something new, finding a new talent, expressing yourself creatively. I don't even think I'm saying that right. Adding more creativity into your life.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. And you think about like people that are associated with the three, it's fun, it's new, it's
Mm.
exciting, it's like all that creative energy around you where, maybe somebody invites you to do something that you've never done before and you absolutely fall in love with it and had
Yeah.
no idea that you loved it that much until they invited you.
That's right. That's right. And if somebody is going into their 3 year this year personally as well for their personal year, that I remember having a numerology report on my 3 year, and the lady was like, "Oh yeah, you're going to be dating, and it's social expansion." And boy, did I ever date. On my 3 year, I was like, well, might as well expand myself and try things out. That was years ago now. That was years ago. So, but with the finding your vibe with your tribe, finding your tribe to vibe with, and that's, having that social expansion, those little tiny little trips and little learning something new. It's exciting. It's an
Yeah.
exciting year for those that are going into their 3 year.
It really is. That is very exciting. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And I feel like creativity keeps things like fresh, and
Mhm.
new and like, I don't know, you just try something different. Whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter, As long as you try something new, I think that's always like a good thing.
That is right. Non-stagnation. Don't
Yeah.
just sit still. Don't just do nothing. Do it. Just get out there and do it. Especially if you're afraid of it, face it on. Go.
Yeah. Even
Yeah,
more reason to do it, especially if you're
exactly.
afraid of it. Just do it.
Yep.
And then 2029 is a four, which
Mhm.
is hard work, discipline, utilizing goals, sustaining the goals, like keeping
Mhm.
them going and not letting them go or don't give up. Four seems kind of like a tough year, but four is also about trying to figure out what really matters to you as well, like
That's
that
right.
path that you want to go on. And fours can bring a lot of confusion too.
It can. It can. Four is a very important year. I agree. It can bring confusion because that's also a time of redo, rethink, reconsider. It's a re
Mhm.
year so that it can be confusing because if something didn't work in the past, but then you're kind of going, well, maybe I'll try that once again. But just be careful with that. The 4 year is a very delicate year for those that are going into their personal 4 years. So again, add up that birthday, add up that month, but that also is for the whole planet in 2020
29 is a
29.
4 year.
Yeah.
2029. Oh,
I know. It's going to be here
ah,
before we know it, though. It really is. But yeah, I want to encourage those people that are going into their 4 year now, though, just really, what is in the best and highest good? That's the best question to ask yourself. Is this particular thing in my best and highest good? If it's not, don't rethink that. Don't
right.
jump back into that old relationship that didn't work that you think is going to work again and again and again. Ah!
Right. And like, were we just not singing Prince Party Like It's 1999 with like 10 years still left to go to 1999? And now me and you are on the podcast talking about in 2030, it's going to be
Right?
a 5 year.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't
That's
it?
not
Oh my goodness,
that
time flies.
long. 2030
Yeah.
is a 5 year, which all is about expansion, travel,
Mhm.
maybe not sitting idling where you're at, taking new
Mhm.
adventures, like physically taking new adventures though, right? Not just
Yes.
with little crafts or creative, like going somewhere new
Mhm.
and shake off any kind of like external or internal restrictions that you have for yourself.
Yes, that's a big one. I love that to shake off those external factors or internal factors of yourself. Those internal factors can be those false limiting beliefs that one says to oneself, going, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not certain about this or that. Well, no, it is time to shake it off and then, dust off your tail feathers and go travel or see or do. And the 5 year is very exciting. It's very exciting because it's like, it's a new adventure. Like, where are we going next? Even little weekend getaways. It doesn't have to be a huge, extravagant trip all through Europe, or, it could
Right.
just be a simple little 3 day weekend and travel and go see and do something new. Play, play.
Yeah, and once you get past that 4 year, you'll be ready to go travel and play because you
Yeah,
already were attaining those goals and you got to where you wanted to be, and now it's time to enjoy it. Now
that's
it's time
right.
to go. Like go do
Mhm.
whatever it is you want to do. And
Yep.
then 2031 is a 6 year,
Mhm.
which is all about home, family, and togetherness.
Mhm. Mhm. It is, it is. And sometimes home, family, and togetherness could be a good thing or it can be a funky thing. It depends on the person, it depends on the situation, right?
Comes
But
up there.
yeah, it is. It could be a loaded thing. So I look at the six as being a time to do healing between family members, or maybe there's a family member that you haven't, done forgiveness work with, or even spoken to for a while. Maybe it's time to just within your own heart, let it go, or do some healing within yourself for your relationships and for your togetherness. It's a really important time in the 6 year to do that, to hone
Yeah.
in on healing.
No, it's good because it might not always be like good things that we have to deal with. They could be hard
Yeah.
emotionally, physically, and maybe that is like a 6 year dealing with things that you might not have addressed prior, but need to be
Sure.
addressed, or some things that are bothering you of your heart.
hmm
So,
It's
things that
yes,
can
absolutely,
emotionally.
absolutely. It can be a challenging time too. It could be a time where you're having to take care of a family member that particular year, or
Yeah.
you're dealing with something with your grown children, or something, you never know, but just be open to that and have your heart open to really just knowing that this is a special, special year for healing. So,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
yeah, for those in the 6 year.
Yeah, and then 2032 is a 7 year, which is all about spiritual development and trusting your intuition.
Mhm.
And it's interesting because so a 7 year was last year was so we're
Mhm.
in 20, what are we right now?
We were
2024?
2024. We're
Yeah,
just at the end. 2024, just coming up right now.
right. So 2023,
Yep.
if anybody's
Spiritual
listening
year.
and they started their spiritual awakening, spiritual journey, spiritual transition two
Mhm.
years ago,
Mhm.
that's why.
Yeah.
Because,
Or coming up too in that 2025 year, you could be going into your personal 7 year, and you might be really interested in learning something more or watching every single episode of Spiritual
yes,
Vacancy.
which we recommend.
Ah! Or you might be finding, just new spiritual gifts coming to you because a lot of these beautiful portals on our planet are open to where you can ask and receive for what you want to learn spiritually. You might become more psychic, you might become more intuitive, you might become more sound in different ways that you haven't done before. So it's such an exciting time to see people go into their 7 year of
Well, that
spiritual.
actually makes sense too, because the way you're putting it is so say your birthday adds up to a 7. So maybe
Yes,
your birthday is like May 2nd. So that would be a 7. And you're going
yes.
into a 9 year. Because 2025 is a 9 year. So maybe you are normally a church person and you're starting to let go of some of those beliefs next year because this is your spiritual journey. So you might be seeing things from a different light, or and you're letting go of certain what would you call them? Like social stigmas or things that are like projected on you from past relationships. And in the 9 year, you're letting that go and you're opening up yourself to
Yes.
more spiritual experience or enlightenment next year.
Absolutely. Letting go of those
100%.
social constructs, letting go of those societal constructs, letting go of those constructs in your own mind from programming, from religiosities, perhaps. It's just
Yeah.
it's different for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah. When you were saying that, I'm like, oh, that makes like so much sense too with
Mhm.
what we're talking about today and how it kind of relates to each thing, right? And
Yes.
then, so 2033 is an 8 year, which we are in
Yes.
right now, which is
Mhm.
2024
Mhm.
is an 8 year, which is about money, manifesting desires, setting those goals work-wise or financially.
Mm.
Because it's all about career, growing finances for coming up in the future. So this is kind of like it's kind of like a 4 a little bit, but it's more advanced because you're being more set in your goals, I would feel like,
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
setting up your desires for what's to come.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Or anyone again with that 8 year, you got it going on, babies. You got it going on because this is your attainment. This is your year of knowing and asking and receiving and everything you touch turning into gold. So just
Hmm.
knowing and that you will be manifesting in this 8 year of attainment, success, abundance, all the greatness that you want to ask for. Just ask and you shall receive. Ask and
Yep.
you shall receive. And a lot of that is just believe in yourself and believing that, let's say you were born on February the 6th. That is an 8.
Hmm.
So you, fellow Aquarius, will be getting what you want. You got this. It's amazing when we look at all those planets and numbers and years. It's just it's a roadmap. It's just a beautiful roadmap.
It really is. And the one thing about the number 8, though, and even when you see it like in angel numbers or things like that, which it does mean money, prosperity, all that stuff, right? You can have both sides of the eight though. Like this 8 year for you in 2024 could have been financially devastating. Like
Mm,
with me, it wasn't totally financially devastating, but I have a lot of hospital bills and it is like overwhelming because I had surgery this year. So it's like with the money symbol, it can go either way, where that's some of the bad things about eight is you can get the really high highs where it's like super financially set and more than you've ever experienced. But then you can have the super low lows of an eight where it can financially drain you as well in this year because things can come up that are unexpected. And even
mm,
around your house, or maybe you need a new car or your car breaks down. Like in the 8 year is about spending money or things breaking in your home. And you're like,
mm.
why is it like, it's one thing after other after other. And that was this year for us too with our
Yes, you got a new
apartment.
car. Yes, you got a new car this year as well, didn't you? Or
It
this
was
past year?
last year. It's been,
Yeah.
yeah, it was last November, but then like this year with the apartment, I mean, it was like what I was like, we couldn't catch a freaking break on
Mm,
where my son lives. It was like the AC and then this and then this, and then I have surgery, and then my husband's having health issues too. So it's just like, oh,
yeah.
eight. But then
Yes.
it's still financial, like we're okay, right? I'm not complaining like
Mhm.
that, but I could see like I'm ready to get out of the 8 year. Like I'm
Yes, yes,
ready to
yes.
go. It had really good, was really good, and then it was like, really, like, whew, it is
Yeah.
draining.
It's like a pendulum swing, right? It really
Yes,
is. It's just like, okay, when it goes one way, then it's got to go the other way just for pure balance. Yeah. But I want to
yes,
encourage people on that 8 year too. Just, keep on the up and up with
you've
it.
got
Just
to.
knowing that it will be provided. The universe provides. The
They
universe
do. It
provides.
always
Yeah.
works out,
It does.
especially if they let you make payments. It's perfect. Like, who
I
paid for this?
know.
But yeah, and it's interesting how that will happen though for a lot of people, that you talk to, and all the years kind of are so right on point with where we're at in our
Yeah.
life because obviously it's bigger than us, the universe, and why things happen the way they do. And now we're going into a 9 year.
Yes.
2025 is a 9 year. It's tying up those loose ends. It's
Mm.
ending relationships with people. Like I have a relationship of 14 years ending in January.
Hmm.
14 years.
Really?
Yeah, my one of my business partners, we're ending it and it's the first week of
Wow.
January
Oh,
and it's needed. It is so needed and
wow.
it's crazy that it's ending next year.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it's great though. Like it's
Yeah.
perfect. It's been needing to happen and it's been in that process, but it was weird that we started it this year. That's why I was like, a lot of things are starting this year and then they're finishing next year. Really
Yes.
laying down those stones. So, like in the restaurant, there's actually been three of us, right? There's three, me, Michelle, and originally it was a guy named Jake, and he was our maintenance guy. That's why we went into business with him. He owned his own heating and air company. He built houses. He was great because having a business partner that could fix everything was wonderful. He passed away in 2018, and his wife got his share. She's never worked there a day in her life. It is time for her to go.
Mm,
She's never benefited us, but we still have to share the money with her.
mm.
And finally, we're ending that relationship after 14 years, the first week of
Wow.
January of 2025. And
Wow.
like, thank
Congratulations.
you. It's so needed though,
Yes,
She
yes,
doesn't
yes,
live here. She's not a part of
yes.
us. Me and Michelle have always just felt like it's been us, even though she's been silently a part of it. And it's
Mm.
so relieving to just be done. Like,
Yes.
and it's just crazy that it happens in a 9 year. And I'm like,
Isn't that
"Gee,
something?
yeah,
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. And we can look at our own lives and see those examples of what happens in 9 years and and the identity that you had from 14 years ago with your business partners. And then
yeah,
now it's a whole new identity coming up and a whole new shift from this 9 year coming up in January for you. So congratulations. That's
thank you.
incredible.
Yeah, but
That's incredible.
it's just the beginning though. And it's weird how that's like happening, And I'm like, of all years. now.
Yes.
Like, and I
Yeah,
didn't
right?
even put it together that it was a 9 year until I started kind of diving into the 9 year.
Yes, it's so amazing, isn't it? When you look at the whole entire scope of all the 9 years or a whole decade, almost a decade that goes by, there's the up years, there's the down years, and it almost goes like an ebb and flow of the highs and the lows and the highs and the lows. And it looks like numerologically too, going from a one to a two to a three to a
Mhm.
four to a five to a six. And they all kind of have their little ebb and flows of the ups and
Mhm.
downs in every one of them. But thank God, because it's got to balance itself out. It's just part of how the
Yeah,
universe works,
it
how the
is.
waves of life can work. So
And I even think it'll be interesting to see who is listening to this today and add up your prior years and see if what Mona and I talked about today is actually accurate with what you experienced in 2020, 2019, 2018, like the years past. Was that on par with what you experienced in your life? And
yes,
it'll be interesting to see how it relates.
it is. It really is. So dive into yourself, people. Dive into your own world of what has happened, these last couple of years, and just see what really makes the most sense to you. And you're going to find that this is another beautiful possible roadmap for you to understand how to navigate through your life even better coming up. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I love this episode. It's fascinating to me. Like
Mhm.
numerology. I'm not, obviously we're not numerologists, but we
Good disclaimer, we are not, but it's
we're
so
not.
fascinating to understand just a little bit of tidbits of it. And there's many times too, if I'm working with a new person and they're like, "Oh, I'm not sure what to work with." And I'll start with numerology all the time, going, well, let's look at you numerologically. Let's find out where you were last year. Let's find out where you're going this year, where you are now. And it really makes a lot of sense where people go, "Oh my goodness, how'd you know that?" It's like, I don't know it. Your numbers. It's your numbers. It's when you were born. It's who you are.
Hmm.
Numbers, you cannot change your birth date. That's
Right.
it. You can't change your birthday. That's who you are. That's when you were born. That's when you incarnated. So it's absolutely fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is. It truly
Mm.
is. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And I look forward to your responses or, just if it actually relates to you, which is
Mm.
the best part. So we thank you guys for listening in. We hope you all have a beautiful new year
Happy New
and you can still party like it's 1999, even though it's
Year.
2025, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will see you guys next year. And
All
thank you for
right.
tuning in every week. We appreciate y'all and have a beautiful day. Namaste.
Happy New Year. Namaste.
Happy New Year.